Hey, how's it going, guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It was recommended or requested, whatever you want to call it, that I do kind of like a guitar collection video. So this is going to show off like my guitars, my Vihuelas, and my mandolin. And yeah, that's basically it. As you can see, we're in a change of location. Today we're in my brother's room because my room is a little messy. I'm packing to go back to Texas State, and so there's not really a lot of like breathing room to show off my instruments. But yeah, let's get straight into this. So for me, every guitar that I own kind of has a big story to it or whatever. It has a reason why I got it. But I'm not going to get too much into that just because I don't want the video to get too long. But I will kind of say a little bit about each guitar. So this was the very first guitar I bought. It's an Element guitar. No, I'm kidding. It's Alvarez, let's see, RD8. I bought this at an Easy Pawn. I want to say it was about the day, I want to say it was like the day after my birthday when I was in the 7th grade or something like that. I bought it at an Easy Pawn. All the strings were completely dead. 2 of them were like missing. The guitar looked really scratched up because it hadn't been cleaned in so long. And I want to say they had it down at like they had it down like at $80. And I was talking with the person working there. I'm like, hey, can you lower the price down for me? And they're like, why should we? Like, $80 is an amazing, price. And I was like, yeah, but, your strings are dead. They're broken, this and that. It's a broken guitar. Like, it's going to cost a lot more to repair it. And I was just, saying words, hoping that they'd like lower down the price. Like, I know that they, I was in my mind, I figured that they weren't going to, and then they were just like, oh yeah, sure, okay, we'll lower it down to $60. And I was like, okay, fine with me. And so I paid $60 for this guitar. It was in great condition, and it still is because I take care of all my guitars. And yeah, this one just means a lot to me because it was my first ever guitar. And even though it's not all that great of a guitar, I'm not like ever selling this one because it means a lot to me. This one right here is actually my second guitar. It is a Hohner, Hohner, oh, this has a long name. This was my second guitar ever. The whole reasoning behind this one was that my friend, who also played guitar, had this really cool black guitar that looked just like this, and I really wanted something that matched his. 1, because we were friends, and then 2, also because like I just thought it looked like a really clean guitar. Like, just something about the black with like the cream off-white lining right here. It was just really cool. And so I really wanted one, and so I asked my parents for one, and they bought this literally the birthday after this one. So there was one point in my middle school, high school career where I was getting a guitar for my birthday / Christmas every single year. And that may make me sound like a spoiled brat, but that was like my only present. I mean, and my parents are watching, yes, y'all got me other great things. But the guitars were like the big thing, how there's always one big gift, like a PlayStation or Xbox. This was my big gift, was a guitar every year. So fast forward to like probably my freshman year, is when I got this really cool guitar. It's a Stagg. I don't know what model it is, and I can't see off the bat, but I'll make sure to include it in the description. It has these really awesome resonators, and overall just had this really interesting sound. At the time, I was a really big fan of a group called Never Shout Never, and they did a lot of kind of like pop acoustic music, and the guitar had a very interesting sound, and the more I looked into the instruments that Christopher Drew played in the band, the more I realized that he used a lot of like resonators in his guitars, and it just gave this really cool twang sound to it, but at the same time it didn't sound country. It almost sounded rock and roll. And so I wanted something like that, and I found this one. I want to say at the time it was $400 or $350. This was basically my very first like expensive guitar at the time, and so I love this thing. It's one of my favorites. So staying kind of in my freshman year, that's when I had first joined mariachi, and I was playing Vihuela, but I didn't have my own, so I was using the school's. My grandma kind of felt bad for me, so when she went down to Mexico with my grandpa, she was actually just walking around and they poked their head into some shop that sold like mariachi trajes and stuff like that, and they ended up finding this Vihuela. I've personally never heard of this brand before, so I'm pretty sure it was just like a random, small guitar maker. It says Hector Valadez, and it says it's made in Guadalajara, Jalisco. And that's basically all the information it gives me on here. It says that he makes vihuelas and guitarrones. It has a pretty nice sound to it. It's very, very loud, which I loved about it. And I still love about it, even though I don't play this one as much. It has a very loud, thick, low sound, which I actually like in a vihuela. I don't care for the super high-pitched, thin-sounding ones. I like the ones that have a little bit more meat to it. But, yeah. It's a little out of tune, obviously, because I haven't played it in so long, and Lord knows if these strings are dead, but this is my very first vihuela. Later on, you'll notice that all my vihuelas, 2 out of the 3 vihuelas have signatures from Jose Hernandez. That's because I would go to a lot of camps that he would teach at, and I was a big fan of him. And I still am a big fan of him. Later on, I'm going to be uploading a vlog of the Mariachi Christmas concert from Sole Mexico. And, I mean, Jose Hernandez has always been such a great guy to me, a very big mentor in my life, and I appreciate everything he's taught me. So I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this video that all the instruments that you're seeing are quote-unquote my instruments. However, there are going to be 2 in this video, this being one of them, that are kind of like shared between Luis and I. This one, not so much anymore. This is a very old guitar. Luis got this his 8th grade year, I believe. No, his 7th grade year, because that's when he had just started learning guitar and got into mariachi. It is a Takamine EG124C. It is an acoustic-electric guitar. And so this was the very, very first guitar that he got, but at the same time, this was the very first quote-unquote church guitar that I got as well. So we have our own guitars to play like for mariachi and stuff like that, but then we also got guitars that were specifically just for church music, because we felt that they sounded really good in a mass setting. Of course, they had to be acoustic-electric so that you could plug into the speaker system and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this was my very first church guitar and Luis's very first guitar. So now we have a quick change of scenery. This is my very first personal acoustic-electric guitar. It is a Takamine EG330RC acoustic-electric guitar. This thing is so amazing. It's one of those like oldies but goodies. It has a really nice tone to it, especially when it was plugged in. Over the years, though, the electric work inside of it got kind of messed up or whatever, so I don't really use it as much. It kind of just sits here. And I'm actually planning on selling this to one of my guitar students. I don't know if he's watching, but Dylan, this was the guitar that you wanted. Just let me know if you still want it, bud. So if he does, then this will no longer be in my collection. But I wanted to include it anyways. Next up, I think I got this my sophomore year. It was like $70. It's a first act electric guitar, and it has this nice little whammy bar. I just used it to play around with it. This was when I was first learning how to actually play like rock music and stuff like that. I should sit down. At the time, some of my favorite bands were like Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, Crown the Empire, and other Metallica, Slayer, bands like that. I was a huge fan of them. I still am. And I would go to a lot of their concerts and stuff like that. And so I always wanted to learn how to play guitar, and so I got this one. Like I said, it was probably around $60-$70 first act guitar. That's about it on that. Alright, so my brother has actually taken back his room. So I'm just gonna film the rest of this in my dirty room. As you can see, there's stuff everywhere because I'm trying to pack to go back to Texas State like in 2 days or whatever. Going into my junior year, I kind of got 2 different instruments. One of them was my Vihuela that I consider like my old faithful. I love that Vihuela, which unfortunately I don't have with me, but I will speak on it later. And then this Vihuela, this ukulele, it's a Lanikai ukulele, model LU21CE. I love this thing. This was the first and only Vihuela ukulele. This was the first and only ukulele I owned. It is an electric one, as you can see. I love this thing. It has a great sound. Unfortunately, it is really chipped and messed up right here. Usually I take extremely good care of my instruments, but it got water damaged and just started to fall apart. But I love this thing. This is my go-to instrument just when I'm jamming out here at the house or whatever. And yeah. Now, since I don't have my old faithful with me in person, I will just kind of pop a picture up there on the screen and talk about it for a bit. I should have brought this up earlier, but man, look at this shirt. I love this shirt, dude. Like, what's not to love about it? It has cats, has ramen. If that isn't my entire life, I don't know what is. Alright, so my senior year was kind of the defining point where I stopped getting a guitar every year or whatever, from my parents at least. So my grandparents actually got me 2 guitar-like instruments my senior year. One of them was this mandolin. It is a it's basically a no name. It just says Guitarras Parocho on here. And it's just a basic mandolin. It has a really nice, decent sound to it. I don't know too much on this because I never got around to learning it like as much as I know guitar, but I know a decent amount on here, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's really cool. It's an interesting instrument. Jesus, I cannot pronounce anything today. And now we have come to one of my personal favorites. This is a Fender Starcaster. I got this one for my either 17th or 18th birthday, I can't remember, which is why I have no idea if this is in order anymore or not, but this was a gift from my grandparents. I love this guitar, not just because it's a gift and you should love all gifts that you receive, but it's just a beautiful made guitar. It sounds amazing. Obviously it's not the best, like there's other great guitars you can get and stuff like that, but for the price that it is, it's a really, really good guitar. I'm in love with the finish on it. From the beginning, like I even said in this video, that I always appreciated guitars that were black and had like that cream or white look to them, just because it's such a clean like finish, but this is my baby. I used it a lot to learn songs from like Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that. I haven't played this thing in forever, so like I doubt I remember anything, but yeah, no, I don't really remember anything. It's pretty bad. I'm super rusty. I've been wanting to pick it up though and relearn because it was a lot of fun. We are now down to the last 4 guitars, and after this guitar, there's pretty much no longer a story for the other ones because they're pretty new. But this one was actually a gift from my aunt when I was leaving off to college. It is Ovation Celebrity Edition. They no longer make these. They're pretty hard to find, used or brand new. And I'm in love with the sound that this guitar has. It's a little out of tune, obviously. But I knew I was going to love it. One, it's Acoustic-Electric, but I knew I was going to love it when I saw this like round belly. because it reminded me of mine. No, I just knew I was gonna love it because it has this really, really pretty look to it, and it's very unique. And so I figured it was gonna have a very unique sound, and I used this for a lot of my senior year when I was in the church here in Kingsville. Finally, this is my Vihuela that I use now most of the time. This is a Reyes Deluxe Vihuela. I got it from Mel Hart. Normally, I'm not a big fan of Reyes, whether it be their Vihuelas or their guitarrones, but lately they've been putting out some really good stuff, and so I definitely recommend at least checking them out. This Vihuela is great. I love it. It has a really rich, deep sound, which I mentioned earlier is what I look for in a Vihuela. I don't like that high-pitched sound, which is what I used to hear a lot on Reyes's, and I still kind of do in the basic model Reyes's, but this one's a beauty. I got this one because I wanted originally to be a Vihuela player for the Texas State Mariachi, and I went in and they're like, "You're trash, kid." Haha. Nah, I'm kidding. Basically, they just told me, like, hey, we really want you to sing because we like your voice. You can't sing and be a Vihuela player, so you need to switch to guitar. And I was like, I don't play guitar. And they're like, well, you do now, so go get one. And so now this is where we see my guitar. And now we have come to my beauty, my baby, the thing that means everything to me in the world. My Cordoba C10. This thing is just so amazing. I love this thing to death. I'd play it for y'all, but I kind of just restringed it, so it's really out of tune. Like bad. On the back, I have this, what we call a scratch pad. For anybody who's a mariachi player, you'll know that you kind of have your gala up here on the chest, and so by constantly moving your guitar around, you're scratching up the back of your guitar, and so I have that there to protect it from that. But this thing is beautiful. It has such an amazing sound. I like it for both classical and mariachi. Unfortunately, I'm not too big of a classical guitar player, so I only use it for mariachi, but I do recommend it for classical players. If you have the money and you're willing to dish out, like, I think it's an extra $300 on top of this guitar, there is the Cordoba C12. If you get it with spruce, I think it is the spruce top, that's really, really good for classical music. And if you get it with cedar, it's supposed to be really good for mariachi, and that's the next guitar I'm looking into getting. Also, for all those who ask me, in person, or like when they see me at performances, or even my mom, this little heart that I keep on my guitar at all times, he is a fictional character, goes by the name of Tata. He is from the BT21 universe, created by BTS and Big Hit Entertainment. I've always been a big fan, as you can see by this giant Tata pillow. But I've been a big fan of them now for, I think, almost 3 years or whatever. And so, yeah, I just like that. It looks really cute, and I like having it on my guitar. And last but not least, you might remember how I mentioned that I said that I have another guitar that I technically share with my brother, and that would be my other church guitar, which I now use all the time. It is a Breedlove Pursuit Concert Koa Koa Limited Edition Acoustic-Electric guitar. I love this thing. It has such an amazing, amazing sound to it. I was first introduced to Breedlove by my good friend Mateo Vela, who also plays guitar really, really well. And so I knew I just had to get one. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It's a very clean-cut guitar, has this nice sound to it, and I definitely recommend it for anyone who has the money for it. This guitar and my Cordoba C10 are actually the same exact price at $1,050, and they are my most expensive guitars. Finally, with all that being said, I did want to end this video on one last note, and that is, of course, that guitars, their quality is not based on the name or the price. You need to go in there and you need to go play them, especially for the kind of music that you're wanting to, play on them. You're not going to get, one of the guitars that like the Beatles used to play and try using that in a death metal band. You're not going to try getting, a guitar that Bring Me the Horizon uses and try using it for music that Mariachi Vargas plays. You want to get a guitar that is tailored to that sound, but at the same time it has to be a guitar that you're happy with. And so I highly recommend, with all your instruments, but especially ones like guitars where you can just easily pick them up at stores and just play them and no one's going to get upset at you for doing that. I highly, highly, highly recommend playing every guitar you can get your hands on. Just play them, see if it's, what you're looking for. Maybe there's things about them that you like and things about them that you don't like. Remember that, so that the next time you find a guitar, you can kind of just pick and choose. Like, oh, I remember I really like guitars with this sound. I like a lot of treble. I like a lot of bass. Some of that can even be fixed in post effects. When you're there doing a performance, just turn it up on the equalizer if you have one on your amp, or if you have one on the guitar. Most guitars have them nowadays on the Acoustic-Electric and electric guitars. They all have equalizers and stuff like that. But other than that ends the video. I do want to thank Dylan Baker for giving me the idea for this video. If y'all have any ideas for future videos, just let me know in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, share this video with friends, tell your friends to subscribe. I don't know what to tell you anymore. I do have videos planned to come out during the school year. They will be posted probably around once every week or once every 2 weeks. But if y'all have any video ideas that y'all want to see, then just let me know and maybe I can move some around and stuff like that. Other than that, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all for watching this video. Peace.